Hello, welcome to this NIA introductory video in which we are going to learn some of the base NIA moves. There are 52 moves total, and we're going to be learning the base moves, some of them today. And I want you to pay particular attention to the names of those moves. And then we're going to play some music and we're going to put them together. So we're going to start with stepping into the space, not technically a NIA 52 move, but it's really important. When we begin NIA class, we step into the space and we are totally present to what we're doing in this moment. Generally, we don't step out of the space. Again, this is a little bit different because this is a video just showing you the moves, okay? So this is closed stance. Feet are parallel. Closed stance is where you bring the toes together, and you can play with bending the knees and straightening and moving the hips. You want to make sure that your tail is tucked under just a little bit. You don't want a big lumbar curve there, so it's tucked under. And this helps to kind of open up the back of the pelvis a little bit. Closed stance. Open stance. Feet are hip width apart and they are parallel. So we spend a lot of time standing around with our feet turned out, probably, at least I do. So turning your feet parallel is a little different. It feels a little bit different. This in yoga is called mountain pose, but in NIA it is called open stance because the feet have opened up a little bit. Now, when we bring the feet out and they are shoulder width apart, my feet are still parallel, but they are now in A stance. So the letter A my legs make. So that's A stance. Notice that the toes are still pointing to the front. This is a little bit different when we turn into sumo stance. So this is also called riding or sumo stance. And this is where the toes are pointed out. Sumo stance can be as wide as you want to take it. Sometimes we emphasize having an upright spine and tucking the tail. Sometimes you can bring your body forward, and this could also be sumo stance right here. Sumo stance is just as wide as you feel comfortable. Then coming back in, we can take it into what is called bow stance. So you'll notice that the ball of my foot is on the ground, but my toes are my heel is lifted. And then this allows me a little bit more movement. So if you put your foot down, there's not so much movement here in the hips, but if I bring my foot out, I have more mobility here in the hip joint. Then I bring it back. I can do the other side. Notice that I'm taking my feet out to the side. That is a little bit different than, but it's the same move, bow stance with the foot to the back. So this is like a high lunge, and you can feel an opening in this front of this hip. So bringing it back to forward, this is bow stance, like B-O-W stance, the bow stance. Then balancing on one foot, this or this, right? Balancing on one foot. This is cat stance. And we can shake out our cat stance. So that's a little bit more tricky. We're going to do that in the move in a moment. Right? So anytime we are balancing, we could hook the foot. This is what we call cat stance. It's really, really kind of a fun pose to do, especially when you're dancing and you move it around a little bit. Okay, so let's dance those stances, showing how they can be put together in different ways and integrated into a choreography. Let's step into the space. Step into the space and then bring it into closed stance, toes together, heels apart. And we're just going to move the joints of the body. Look around. It's really important to warm up. You can sense the rhythm in the song, in the music. You could see how low you can go and then bring it back up high. Now, can we pick one leg up and set it back down so it's up and then a wiggle, up and then a wiggle. Turn the toes in and touch. Now, let's try open stance. Step. Step. How about arms? Step. Step. Open stance. You can pulse the pelvis a little bit. Now, we're going to do this one more time. And then we're going to take it out and in. So it's out, in, out, in. So this is A stance, open. A stance, open. Play with noticing how far apart your feet are, where they kind of want to go. Root down through the whole foot. Now, let's just hold it in A stance, A, and move it around. Now, taking your hands, fingers together, we're going to do palm directions. Take it down, one, middle, high, one, high, one, and two, and three, and four, and one, and two. You could watch the hands. A stance. Now we're going to take it into your sumo. So take it wide. How does it feel? Wag your tail a little bit. Turn those toes out. You can bring it down here. Shifting body weight side to side. Wag your tail. Now we're going to take it up. So it's 1 and 2 and stepping forward, stepping back. Practice. You can bring it into your elbows. Maybe bigger. Sumo, palm directions, spread your fingers, web spaces. Now, bow stance, one leg back. Ball of foot, remember bow? And then bring it back. Wag the tail. Bring it back. Now, let's take it. 2, and then it's 3. A stance. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. This is called claw hands. Sha, sha. Sha, sha. Sha, sha. Got it. Are you ready for your cat stance? Lifting this leg, take it up, and shake it out. Switch. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Ah! Yeah.